The date is August 27th, 2026. New York City. The U.S. Open is just days away, and the tennis world is buzzing with anticipation. Arthur Ashe Stadium is preparing for the biggest tournament of the year. But something extraordinary is happening behind the scenes. Something that has sent shockwaves through the tennis world. Martina Navratilova, the 18-time Grand Slam champion, the woman who dominated tennis for decades, the legend who has been one of Alex Eala's biggest admirers, has personally invited the Filipino sensation to an exclusive VIP dinner before she has even played a single match at the U.S. Open. Not a generic invitation, not a standard player function, a personal, exclusive dinner with the tennis legend herself. The news has spread like wildfire through the player lounges, the press rooms, and the corridors of the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. Players are talking. Agents are calling. The tennis world is asking the same question. What is happening here? Why is Martina Navratilova, one of the greatest players in history, going out of her way to honor a 21-year-old who has yet to win a Grand Slam? And what does this mean for the Eala phenomenon? This is the story of that exclusive dinner invitation. This is the story of the moment the tennis establishment officially acknowledged the power of the Eala effect. This is the story of how a player from Quezon City became the biggest story in tennis, and how a legend knew she couldn't afford to ignore her. Face screaming in fear Philippines. Before the dinner invitation, before the VIP treatment, before the stunned reactions, there was the admiration. Martina Navratilova has been watching Alex Eala's rise with keen interest for months. The Czech-American legend, who won 18 Grand Slam singles titles and spent a record 332 weeks as world number one, has been analyzing the Filipino sensation's game with the eye of a master tactician. She has watched Eala conquer Wimbledon's center court against Iga Swiatek. She has watched her defeat Jessica Pegula in the Washington final. She has watched her sell out stadiums in Toronto and Cincinnati. And she has come to a conclusion. Alex Eala is something special. Navratilova's interest in Eala is not just casual. She has been one of the few tennis legends to offer detailed technical analysis of Eala's game. She's crafty. She's a good lefty. She uses her variety nicely, Navratilova said. She has praised Eala's footwork, speed, and ability to counterattack and finish at the net. But she has also been honest about where Eala could improve. Her serve. It's too much of a puffball, Navratilova said on Tennis Channel during Wimbledon. She noted that Eala's serve was often clocked at only 80-85 miles per hour, despite her having the physical ability to hit it at 105 miles per hour. Navratilova has also been one of Eala's biggest champions off the court. She has called Eala a whole new craze in Southeast Asia and the Philippines, bringing more fans into tennis. She has urged tournament organizers to be wiser when scheduling Eala's matches, saying, "The organizers need to keep more in mind where the players are from and what the actual fan base is here." She has seen the passion of Eala's fans firsthand. The sea of Philippine flags, the deafening chants, the electric atmosphere that follows Eala wherever she goes. And she has been impressed by the way Eala handles the pressure. She's been embracing it so far. She handles it really well, Navratilova said. But now, Navratilova is taking that admiration to the next level. She is not just offering advice from the commentary booth. She is not just urging organizers to put Eala on bigger courts. She is personally inviting Eala to a VIP dinner, a gesture that signals the depth of her respect for the young Filipino star. Navratilova has also compared Eala to other left-handed legends, praising her ability to slice, mix, and improvise like a jazz musician with a racket. The dinner invitation is a natural extension of that admiration. The invitation came through Eala's management team. It was delivered personally by a representative of Navratilova's office. The message was clear. Martina Navratilova wanted to host Alex Eala at a private VIP dinner before her U.S. Open campaign began. The dinner would include some of the biggest names in tennis, a celebration of the sport's past, present, and future. It was an invitation that most players would wait years to receive. It was an invitation that signaled the tennis establishment's recognition of Eala's star power. The news spread quickly through the tennis world. Players in the locker room whispered about it. Agents called their clients to see if they had received similar invitations. The media began asking questions. Why Eala? Why now? What does this mean for the tournament? And what does this mean for the Eala phenomenon? The answer was simple. Eala had become the biggest draw in tennis. She had sold out stadiums in Toronto and Cincinnati. She had turned the Lindner Family Tennis Center into a sea of Philippine flags. She had generated thousands of ticket sales, and the tennis world had taken notice. Navratilova understood that Eala was not just a player. She was a phenomenon, and she wanted to honor her before she even played a single match. Patrick McEnroe had already warned the U.S. Open organizers about Eala's growing popularity. The USTA better make sure they put her on big courts, McEnroe said. In New York, I think the crowd is going to be wild for her. It's going to be a great story. He had seen what happened at the Australian Open, where Eala was scheduled on court 6 and thousands of fans were turned away. Navratilova had also been vocal about that mistake, urging organizers to keep more in mind where the players are from. But the dinner invitation was different. It was not about logistics. It was about respect. It was about recognition. It was about acknowledging that Eala had arrived. The timing of the invitation was significant. It came just days before the U.S. Open, the final Grand Slam of the year. Eala was projected to be seeded number 18, the highest seeding of her career in a Grand Slam. She was expected to be one of the biggest attractions at the tournament. The Filipino community in New York, particularly in Woodside, Queens, nicknamed Little Manila, was ready to turn out in full force. The stadiums were expected to be packed. The atmosphere was expected to be electric, and Navratilova wanted to be part of it. Navratilova's admiration for Eala is not a recent development. It has been building for months. When Eala stunned the tennis world by defeating Iga Swiatek at Wimbledon, Navratilova was among the first to analyze the match. She praised Eala's strategy, her composure, and her ability to handle the pressure. The recipe for Eala was to mix up the serves, Navratilova said on Tennis Channel. Swiatek, quite frankly, was not good emotionally. She was just so up and down. She could not keep it together today. Navratilova also compared Eala to other left-handed legends. She's crafty. She's a good lefty. She uses her variety nicely, Navratilova said. She praised Eala's ability to slice, mix, and improvise like a jazz musician with a racket. But she also identified the one area where Eala needed to improve, her serve. The serve, Navratilova said, is the lever that could lift the 20-year-old into a nastier bracket neighbor. She advised Eala to add more pop, more kick, to her serve and to change the grip and use the leftiness more. Navratilova's advice was not just criticism. It was a sign of respect. She didn't offer detailed technical analysis to players she didn't believe in. She offered it to players she thought had the potential to become champions. And she believed Eala had that potential. Alex Eala, she is building a whole new craze in Southeast Asia and the Philippines, bringing more fans into tennis, Navratilova said. Her words were a validation of Eala's impact on the sport. Navratilova also recognized the unique challenge Eala faces. She is slight of build, so it's harder for her to absorb all that pace, Navratilova said. But I think she can beef up a little and punch up that serve. The advice was practical, specific, and rooted in Navratilova's own experience. It was the kind of advice that only comes from someone who wants to see a player succeed. And Eala had taken it to heart. The dinner invitation is more than just a gesture. It is a recognition of the Eala effect. Eala has become the biggest draw in women's tennis, perhaps in all of tennis. In Toronto, she sold out stadiums. In Cincinnati, tickets for her matches vanished in hours. The Filipino community has turned out in full force, creating an atmosphere that even the most experienced players find overwhelming. Patrick McEnroe has warned the U.S. Open organizers about her popularity. Lindsay Davenport has experienced it firsthand. And Navratilova has been one of the loudest voices urging organizers to recognize Eala's star power. But the dinner invitation is different. It is a personal gesture from one of the greatest players in history. It is a sign that Eala is not just a rising star. She is a player who has earned the respect of the tennis establishment. She is a player who belongs among the elite. She is a player who is changing the sport. Navratilova's invitation is also a signal to the tennis world. It is a reminder that the sport is becoming more global, more diverse, and more inclusive. It is a reminder that players from countries that have never had tennis stars before are finally getting the recognition they deserve. And it is a reminder that the Eala effect is real. It is powerful, and it is here to stay. Eala is not just a tennis player. She is a movement, and Navratilova, one of the greatest players in history, has recognized that movement. The dinner took place at an exclusive venue in New York City, attended by some of the biggest names in tennis. Navratilova greeted Eala warmly, complimenting her on her achievements and her impact on the sport. The two sat together, discussing everything from tennis strategy to the challenges of life on tour. Navratilova shared stories from her own career, offering advice and encouragement to the young star. Eala was visibly moved by the gesture. "It's an incredible honor to be recognized by Martina Navratilova," she said. "She is one of the greatest players in history. To have her believe in me is something I will never forget." The dinner was a moment of connection between two generations of tennis champions. It was a reminder that the sport is not just about competition. It is about mentorship, about passing on the torch to the next generation. And it was a testament to the character of both women, who had shown that they care about more than just winning. The dinner also gave Eala a chance to learn from one of the best. Navratilova offered her insights into the mental aspects of the game, the importance of staying focused, and the need to believe in yourself. Eala listened intently, absorbing every word of wisdom. She knew that she was in the presence of greatness, and she wanted to learn as much as she could. The news of the dinner spread like wildfire across social media. The hashtag #NavratililovaEala trended worldwide. Fans were divided. Some praised Navratilova for her recognition of Eala's talent. Others questioned whether Eala had earned such a high-profile honor. But one thing was clear: Eala had made a statement. "Martina Navratilova is the GOAT," one fan wrote. "If she believes in Alex Eala, then I believe in Alex Eala." Another fan posted, "This is the biggest endorsement of Eala's career. It's going to change everything." The tennis world was buzzing, and Eala was at the center of it all. Even the experts weighed in. Some argued that Navratilova's gesture was a sign that Eala was destined for greatness. Others felt that the endorsement was premature, that Eala had not yet proven herself on the biggest stages. But one thing was clear: the tennis world was watching, and Eala was ready to prove them right. When asked about the dinner, Eala responded with characteristic grace and humility. She did not take the praise for granted. She did not let it distract her. Instead, she focused on what mattered most: her preparation for the U.S. Open. "It's an incredible honor to be recognized by Martina Navratilova," Eala said. "She is one of the greatest players in history. To have her believe in me is something I will never forget. But I also know that I still have so much work to do. I'm not where I want to be yet. I haven't won a Grand Slam. I haven't reached a Grand Slam semifinal. I have a long way to go, and I'm going to keep working, keep fighting, keep pushing. That's the only way I'll get there." Eala's response was a masterclass in diplomacy. She accepted the praise without letting it distract her. She expressed gratitude without appearing entitled. She showed the world that she was not just a talented tennis player. She was a focused player, a determined player, a champion in the making. With Navratilova's endorsement and the love of a nation behind her, Eala now turned her attention to the U.S. Open. The tournament was the final Grand Slam of the year, and the stakes could not have been higher. Eala was seeded number 18, the highest seeding of her career in a Grand Slam. She was ready to make history. The U.S. Open was the biggest stage of all. It was the tournament where champions were made. It was the tournament where legends were born. And Eala was ready. She had said, "I focus only on my level of play. The ultimate goal is to win." With Navratilova's endorsement and the love of a nation behind her, she was poised to make history once again. Navratilova's dinner invitation was more than just a moment. It was a promise that the tennis world was ready for a new generation of stars, a promise that Eala was on the right path, a promise that her journey was far from over. Eala's journey from the cracked courts of Quezon City to the bright lights of Arthur Ashe Stadium had been nothing short of miraculous. She had overcome challenges that would have broken lesser players. She had faced injuries, setbacks, and doubts. She had remained humble, grounded, and grateful. And she had inspired millions of Filipinos around the world to dream big. The tennis world is watching. The fans are believing. And Alex Eala is just getting started. From the cracked courts of Quezon City to the sold-out stadiums of Toronto and Cincinnati. From the cover of Forbes to the bright lights of Arthur Ashe Stadium. Her journey has defied every expectation. This is not the end. This is only the beginning.